We are the Doctors Who Read Stuff, back again with our deep dive into chapters 32 and 33 of Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn, The Final Empire. Marsh is dead. Is Marsh really dead? Is he mostly dead? The death is horribly violent and the body unrecognizable, so is Marsh really dead? Kelsier seems to think so, and without a moral compass after losing yet another emotional anchor, he goes on an epic allomantic bender where he destroys the Lord Ruler's Atium supply, stages a crazy rescue of Lord Renoux and company, and comes face to face with a very familiar inquisitor. There's a lot to unpack and discuss, so stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to the Doctors Who Read Stuff. I'm Chris.
I'm Chip.
And I'm Brian.
And as we just found out, this is chapters 32 and 33 of Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. So last time, we kind of left on a high note, right?
Yeah, and I think we thought the Sanderlanche had really begun, and
yeah,
this one starts with kind of a, the chapter doesn't start too bad.
I mean, there's
Spook and
there's placing
Vin are
some
hanging
set
out,
pieces, right?
and
yeah.
she's kind of letting him down easy that, she's like, I know, we're just not meant to be, but can I keep your handkerchief anyway? And he says some words in his kind of weird language, and he seems okay with it, but he kind of teaches her some stuff about burning tin and how to kind of, it's not about listening, it's about filtering things out so you can focus in on stuff. And
it's interesting to me how she's kind of like spent time with all of these different people in the crew, and she's picked out
that's going to pay off at some point.
Well, I feel like she's picked out things that Kelsier doesn't even
I think so.
have like understanding of.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there.
So that's interesting there.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, it was his idea to do that, and the fact that maybe he didn't do that himself is like...
Well, I remember, when, the scene from with Marsh a few chapters ago when he's like, there's a lot of subtleties that you can do, and because that's where I think she started kind of picking up on what somebody else was burning, and and I think that kind of plays into her, how she's able to pierce the copper cloud that we talked about last chapter, and there's... Yeah. So I think it is paying off. It's good.
Definitely.
I will say I hit that point in the book, though, and I thought, oh, no. This seems like, she spurned his advances, and it was like, what's going to happen to him? I kind of got that feeling like you were just getting drawn into this character, and you kind of feel sorry for him. What's going to happen in the ending here?
Yeah, some things do happen.
Some things do happen.
So after, and then Kelsier shows up on the rooftop, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so he pops in, and they're going to go meet with Marsh, right? So that's kind of the big thing that happens this chapter.
Oh boy,
Here's the thing. When the book started out, I really didn't enjoy Marsh, but after that chat that he and Vin had, I'm like, he's not half bad.
Well, and the fact that he went and joined the obligator, got into the obligator, got the tattoos, he was all in and very committed to this, and I'm not like 90% sure. Okay, it's probably Marsh, but there's a part of me that the body's unrecognizable. The head was like torn off. There's still a chance that it may not have been him.
Right.
But Kelsier sure thinks it's him.
Yeah.
So I think that tells me it's probably him. But
Well, and this is kind of like that. Well, he left a note first of all, but this is like.
But the note was weird that it was so easy for them to find, but.
And no blood on it. It had nothing else.
Yeah. So did whoever killed him, the Inquisitors, leave that behind, or did they not even know it was there? Or I don't know, because the note said something about he thought they were onto him, didn't they? And
But like in the previous chapter, from Vin telling Kelsier about the Ventures supplying the Atium, and this is just kind of like this culmination. He's like, okay, let's do this. So he Pewter drags himself all the way to the pits.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool because you start out with this point of view from this Ska slave who's down in the pits, and you can kind of imagine this was Kelsier at one point.
Talks about finding the geode and reaching in and tearing his arms
up. If he doesn't find one today, then he's
worried about he's got one. So is another slave going to kill him to take the geode?
It? Yeah. So it's interesting how, and I've said this a lot, but just how thoroughly Sanderson built this world.
Oh yeah.
Like from the pits to how the noble houses work to how the Ska society is laid out to the thieving crews. I mean, everything is just meticulously laid out and meticulously planned, and it's nice.
Yeah.
It works really well. But it's kind of interesting because you get to see, from this guy's point of view, Kelsier show up in his Mistborn clothes.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that... Cause
what does Kelsier say to him? Because the guy's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm what you are now," or something, or a survivor.
Yeah, it's something like that. But it's kind of building onto that world building comment. It's like, that's why they have slaves do this mining, because allomancers
could do it.
Could do it, but it would
just
like shatter the crystals.
Yeah.
And there would be no Atium, because that's where the geodes grow. And so that's what he does, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and when you think about it, the best way to take down an empire, a civilization, a government, or anything is to take away its primary income source.
Yep.
Yeah. Why did we not think of this before? Well, okay.
I don't know.
I'm going to answer my own question, because we didn't know that just being an allomancer near the pits would do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just...
I thought that Kelsier even said it was theoretical, that he thought he could do this based on, what he felt the last time he was there, when he snapped and had all the stuff that he could sense, all the Atium geodes.
But I mean, having read it and having experienced it, now it's just like, how did we not see that he wouldn't try to cut off that supply line somehow?
Right.
Like not necessarily destroy it at its source, but like interrupt the flow into Luthadel.
Yeah. Again, good point. Kind of like the spice in Dune.
Right. Yeah.
The spice must flow, so the Atium must flow, and when it doesn't, then everything kind of...
And there are problems.
All lives will be on Arrakis. I mean, Luthadel.
Luthadel.
Or the pits, or wherever,
So yeah, that was really cool. One thing I wanted to do, and this might not be the best place to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway.
We'll do it here anyway.
I went back and I read the back of the book, just out of curiosity. And it says, so let's think back to the logbook. Let's think back about what we know about society. It says, once a hero arose to save the world. A young man with a mysterious heritage courageously challenged the darkness that strangled the land. He failed. For 1,000 years since, the world has been a wasteland of ash and mist, ruled by an immortal emperor known as the Lord Ruler. Every revolt has failed miserably. That whole he failed bit was what kind of like made me think, oh, hold on. Huh. Anyway, I noticed that, and I thought that was interesting, and I had a note in here, and I didn't want to forget it later. So I just threw it out there.
So what did he fail at? Saving the world? Because he created an empire and is the ruler of this empire, so...
Well, they said that earlier in the book, they said that he did save the world from falling into the darkness itself.
The deepness, or whatever it was. And
so for that, he has to at least retain some sort of credit.
Right.
So I don't know how he failed, but...
Yeah. Anyway.
Maybe that'll make sense in a couple chapters.
I still think, too, and I am curious to see where it goes, because when you read the logbook and all the entries... he seems like he's got great intentions. He's very positive. He's, except when it comes to the terrorist people, he's a little
off in his judgment.
But for the most part, it's very positive that he's really trying to champion this, and but at some point he breaks bad and things go to hell. But so I hopefully we'll find out how things played out, and I don't know if we'll find out what the deepness is and how he beat the deepness.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or or like I think Ryan might have said, maybe the deepness kind of embodied him, and that's kind of how things go bad. That was how he had to beat it, but he had to join with it or something. But who knows?
So, here's another question I have. Since Kelsier believes Marsh to be dead, I'm going to phrase it like that. He may well be dead, but for now, until we get positive confirmation, I'm going to state it like that.
Kelsier believes he's dead.
Yes. Is this going to lead Kelsier to do something even more reckless than what he's already done?
I think we talk about, or in the book you talk about Kelsier snapping. When he figures out his allomantic powers. I think he's snapped now that he has no anchors, no. Mare's gone.
Yep.
He's, the army's gone. Now Marsh is gone. I think that he's gonna be reckless and he's gonna do something crazy, and I think it leads to I don't know if
His
it'll be
Obi-Wan
soon, but
moment.
I think it's going to be his
Well,
Obi-Wan moment
yeah,
where
even the rest of the crew is kind of second guessing whether they're going to stay in it or
Yeah.
not. So he's like on the verge of losing his crew too. It's
Right.
like he's really kind of lost it all or nearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, and then the other worry is, that with Marsh's body there and, the pain that he must have gone through, they think that, they broke him. And what did he divulge?
Right.
Did they, because that's where he's got the crew's packing up to leave that safe house to move to a backup safe house. He's got Renoux fleeing the city with his people. I think he sent Spook there to help, Renoux, get out of the city. And, the whole plan is kind of falling apart around him in a way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
the,
think it's
the pieces are all there for him to make an incredibly stupid decision.
Oh yeah.
I mean, as smart and as intelligent and as well intentioned as he is, when you become unmoored from everything that has been like.
Well, I think I said in the opening, it's
a
like his
stability.
emotional anchor or his moral compass of why we're doing all this.
Right.
I think now it's just pure revenge, and
Yes.
he's unhinged, and
Yes.
who knows where it's going to lead. But well, anybody that's read the rest of the book knows. We'll get there.
That's true.
In a few episodes.
Yeah. But anyway, we go back to the crew talking about pulling out and.
Well, I think it's funny when Kelsier shows up here and he's basically like, "Yeah, I just destroyed the pits of Hess," and
Yeah.
They said, he looks like he'd been pewter dragging. He's like, "Yeah, I took a couple naps on the way back, but no one else. I destroyed them, guys."
So there was Breeze had a comment.
That's how I read it. Was just kind of
Breeze had a comment in here that I enjoyed. He said, "You madman. Atium is the foundation of the imperial economy. Controlling it is one of the main ways that the Lord Ruler maintains his hold over the nobility. We may not get to his reserves, but this will eventually have the same effect. You blessed lunatic. You blessed genius." That just made me chuckle. So
one thing I liked, and this is kind of jumping back to the beginning of the chapter, though, when Vin and Spook are sitting on the rooftop and they're watching the house war kind of getting started. She starts to kind of look back at all the things that they've done, and it's like, we did this, we built an army, we infiltrated the balls, and she's just kind of reflecting on all the good things that they've been able to do, and she takes kind of pride in what they've done, and that she's taking pride in being part of that crew, and I think she's really it's kind of goes back to a couple chapters ago where she said everything's going to change, but I think it's just kind of that reflective moment before things start to change. That she's like, if all else fails today, we did do some good. So I thought that was kind of a nice.
The crew's talking about packing it in, and Kelsier clearly means to keep going.
Oh yeah.
But I think they get interrupted because there are
bells in the background
executions.
And there's an execution. But Kelsier did say before they went to bed, he was like, "I'll tell you all about it tomorrow."
And then tomorrow.
I know.
Yeah.
Well,
so there's some stuff that starts to happen then. So
makes you wonder if he'll even get a chance to tell anyone tomorrow.
Does tomorrow start with whoever's kind of watching instead of Spook? Since Spook went to Lord Renoux's mansion.
Yeah.
He comes in and said, "Hey, there's some stuff going on again, guys. There's, I don't know if it's more executions or basically he comes in and announces that there's some shit going on."
Yeah. But that was pretty intense because last time they executed 100, 200 Ska.
Right.
And so, all right, this is probably going to be.
It was more than that. I mean, they were doing 4 at a time all afternoon, wasn't it? So
I
don't know what you're the actuary. You should.
Actuary.
I'm on the property casualty side.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's my excuse.
You're not a doctor.
Wait, what?
But Kelsier is basically saying, like, I'm gonna go watch because these people are dying because of what I just did, because I just destroyed the pits, and I owe them that much at least.
Yeah, and he thought this was a very quick response to this is like the next day that all this is going on, so it seemed a little quick, or odd, I guess, again.
But the carts come through close to where they're at, and they're able to get up to a roof, and they're able to see that Spook and Lord Renoux are in one of the wagons.
See some familiar faces.
They've picked them out, and we talked about Kelsier doing something reckless.
Oh, man.
Because he's emotionally compromised.
Yes, and Vin is unable to talk him
take
out
long.
of it this time, and sure enough,
well,
it's a trap.
Vin says something about, that...
Where's General Akbar?
Well, Well, I think I think it's after.
He was technically an admiral.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Well, doesn't Kelsier jumps in to go save him, and Vin says something about we're not invincible, and I think it was Breeze or Doxson said, yeah, but we're not helpless either. So
Right.
we've got to do something. These are our
Yeah,
people. You know,
yeah.
that this is our crew.
And I thought it was really cool that Vin was just like, she sat down next to him. She's like, okay,
Yep.
I'm gonna help.
But it did.
I'm not gonna be down there like fighting like Kelsier is, but I can still help here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then you start to question, how did they find Renoux, and was it Marsh?
Yeah.
Did Marsh give him up? And
Right.
and is this a trap to draw Kelsier out into the open? And
By the way, the answer is yes.
Mhm.
How many Inquisitors were there? Was it just the one?
Just the one.
just the one
Okay.
shows up
'Cause
here, but
he was the one who drew the short straw,
Mhm.
or he made some comment like, yeah, like there were multiple people in on it, but he was the only one who really wanted to go, or the only one who was able
Yeah.
to show up, or something.
And the
well, he's the one
Inquisitor.
that really wants to go. That he's after him and after
Oh, yeah.
Ben.
The first thing he said is, "Where's the girl?"
Mm-hmm.
So that seems to
Yeah.
still be this particular Inquisitor's primary focus
Yeah.
is Vin.
Yeah, and
And
was
we
that
don't
part of
know
the trap
why.
was to try to draw her out
Right.
with Kelsier, but
I mean, yeah, it could be.
then
Yeah,
Doxson kind of keeps her back and
Yeah.
lets Kelsier do his thing.
right.
But then Ham that went and kind of drummed up the remainder of some of the
Mhm.
Ska army,
like a few hundred.
yeah. So while
Yeah.
they were trying to
Well,
get the people
Kelsier
out
is
while
gonna,
Kelsier was
kinda
creating a
distract,
diversion. Yeah. And I think halfway through this battle with this Inquisitor, Kelsier was like, I should have listened to Vin.
Yeah.
This was kind of stupid, but a little too late.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it really just kind of ends on that cliffhanger.
It does.
Kelsier.
yeah, because what does he say at the
Inquisitor,
end? Basically, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's.
he's basically it
Let's
sounds
begin.
like he's ready to make his final stand.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Oh, is this
Sanderson doesn't usually choreograph, so I don't
Mhm.
know that this is necessarily his final stand. But I do agree with Chip that I think it's coming sometime.
his Obi-Wan moment?
Yeah.
So just real quick, like one thing I noticed is one thing we didn't mention was Aelin shows up,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did right at
which
the very
Yeah, I
which
forgot,
puts
and he's
all
looking-
of our major characters in
In the
this
same
one
place.
place.
Yeah, and he's looking for Vin basically
Yeah.
to make sure that she's
Yes.
safe, or because he thought she would be in the cart with the rest of the
Right.
Lord
right.
Renoux's.
So is
crew,
the Lord
and-
Ruler coming too?
Oh.
That was one of the questions I had. It's like, well,
Then it would make sense that
Right.
you've got all these major players. You've got like 4 chapters left in the book.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Anyway,
So, yeah, I have thoughts on who maybe. Well, again, this has been bothering me for the entire book, where she talked about her abusive brother Reen,
oh yeah,
and
yeah.
and her father was an obligator, and the obligators have special relations with the Inquisitors, and her brother Reen disappeared. Do you suppose that is there a way that people go through
Like,
transformation?
he
Like,
went-
could
well, they
Reen be
they
the
said
Is
that,
an
Inquisitor?
yeah.
obligator, the
Yeah.
Inquisitor, like the
Yeah.
evolution of an obligator.
But could
and-
Reen be
Interesting.
this particular Inquisitor? Is that maybe does the Seal Inquisitor have a different motivation?
It's personal.
Good job, Brian. Good job.
That's
I don't know.
Right.
that's very cool. Whether it's
Yeah.
a thing or not, I like
Yeah.
that.
But and real quick, there was this one time where like Reen's voice was in her head, and it kind of gave me almost like this Gollum. Smeagol
Yeah,
relationship.
yeah, it was.
So that was kind of interesting too.
But I
But
think it was like the chapter before, or one of these chapters just recently, where she actually admits that part of her did love Reen, that he was family,
Yeah.
and on some level,
right,
she cared pretty deeply for him.
right.
But yeah, that voice has been in her head the whole book.
All right.
I don't know.
Next week we will figure out what happened. Will Kelsier die? Will the prisoners be rescued? Will the Lord Ruler show up? Is Reen the Inquisitor? I don't know. We're going to find out some stuff, and we're going to talk about it. So please, keep watching. Click below to get to our Mistborn playlist. And if you like what you heard, please click the subscribe button. We'll see you next time.
Alonzi.